All right, guys, now that we have the stick dragging on the screen and the puck moving when we hit the start button, we need to tell the puck what to do when it hits something. So the first thing we're going to do is tell the puck what to happen if it collides with anything. So I'm going to choose my puck over here from my list. And I'm looking for when puck collided with. It's the very top one. I'm going to put that on my screen. And I need to tell it that when it hits pretty much anything, that it needs to bounce off in the opposite direction. So I'm going to set the puck's heading, just like we set the heading at the very beginning of the game on the start button. Now we're going to tell it to set that heading to the opposite of where it's currently at, which is a math block. It's a subtraction. We're going to tell it to go the exact opposite direction that it started in. So this first block is going to be a 360. And then back to my puck. And we're going to choose puck heading, which is light green. So when the puck collides with other, and the other could be anything on the screen, it's going to set that heading to be 360 degrees of where it was heading before. When that happens, we want it to score a point because it means that our stick stopped it from going somewhere, because the stick is the only other thing on the screen. So I'm going to go to my variables and I'm going to say set my score to add a point. But we can't just do a +1. We have to tell it that we want it to go figure out what the score was. So get what the score was, and then we can add 1 point to it. Okay, so the puck's going to bounce off the stick the opposite direction it came from, and then it's going to change the score from whatever it was to another point. This only changes the internal scoreboard of our game. It doesn't change the score that we put into the designer here. So the next line of code is going to be so that it updates this score label. And that's down here in our score. So I'm going to click score and I'm going to say set score text to, and that's green. So set score text to, and this is a weird one. We have to tell it to join both our label and our variable, and join for some reason is under text. It's the second one down. So we're going to join our score label, and we need it to say score, otherwise it's going to erase it each time. So we're going to say score here, and then we're going to go to variable, and we're going to get whatever the score is. Super important that this line of code has to be listed before this line of code. If this isn't listed first, then it's going to update the view of the score before it actually gives a point, and it'll always be 1 point behind. Okay, next thing we're going to do is say what happens if the puck hits the wall. So like the sideboards. So we're going to go back to puck. And we're going to say when puck edge reached. Now your app inventor has 4 edges. So this top edge of your tablet up here is going to be a 1. The bottom edge is a -1. So we need to use a control block that says if the edge that we reach is -1, which means our puck went off the screen and our stick didn't stop it, our game should be over. So we're going to grab a math block that says equals, and we're going to tell it that if our edge is that -1 number, which means it went off the bottom of the screen. We need the puck to stop. So we're going to go to puck. We're going to say set speed to 0. Okay, so that will make the puck stop moving so that we can't lose after we win. We also need to turn our clock off so that we can't win the game even after we've lost. So we'll go clock. We're going to set the timer enabled to false, like we talked about in the last video. So we've told it what to do if it hits the bottom edge, but we haven't told it what to do if it hits an edge that's not the bottom. So for that, we're going to hit this little blue gear. We're going to pull an else into this box right here. We need to say that if the puck touches anything other than that bottom edge, it needs to bounce off the wall. So go to puck, and we need to do bounce. And we're going to throw this part away. Sorry, I want to get rid of that blue gear. So I'm going to throw away this. And we need to say get edge. So it should just bounce off the same direction it came from. So I want you to test your game now. Make sure that your puck moves around the screen when you hit the start button, that when it bounces off your stick, you get a point. And then if it goes off the bottom of your screen, that the puck stops. Your clock is not going to work yet because we haven't coded your timer, but everything else should work. Once it works, you need to go into our Canvas page and download these supporting files. It will take you to a Google Drive. You need to download these individually because we're going to use all of these files in the next video. So download these and then upload them into your media on your designer view so that we can use those next.